Hi, everybody. If you haven't already joined EdX, you need to do that now. Go back to the first video that I posted and join EdX and join the course, How to Learn Math by Joe Bowler, who is a professor at Stanford. You're going to be taking the Stanford course, but you're also going to be signing up for the Introduction to Algebra School Yourself course. And here's what it looks like. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to share one of the lessons with you and show you how to go about learning the algebra. So here's my screen. I'm going to go to the first course. This is the Introduction to Algebra course. I think I'm going to go back to the original screen so you can see it. Let me go back to, there it is. This is the Introduction to Geometry. This is the Introduction to Algebra. It's called School Yourself, Algebra X. It was written by 5, I believe, Yale University professors working in conjunction with Harvard. So I'm going to resume the course. And the one I'm going to go over is solving equations. And I'm going to go to multi-step equations. So we're going to look at this one. This is just one of the lessons, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it. Now, one of the things you're going to find is that you're going to get a second little window that's going to open, and you're supposed to click on it. One of the problems with it, and it does have a little glitch in it, is that it'll sit here and do this little, looks like fingers drumming on a page. You need to go down and press the play. So you press play.
Let's look at the equation x minus 5 equals 7. Suppose we want to solve for x. That means we want to do something to both sides of the equation, so it says x equals something. So what can you do to both sides of this equation to solve for x and get rid of this minus 5 on the left?
I love this interactive element to these courses. It's extremely easy. Most people know what they have to do to both sides. They realize that you have to do the opposite to both sides, which is to add 5. If you say the wrong answer, of course, he tells you what the problem is and you move on.
Okay, let's add 5 to both sides. On the left, we have x minus 5, then plus 5. Subtracting and adding 5 cancel out, leaving us with just x on the left. So nicely done. And on the right side, we have 7 plus 5, which is 12. So by adding 5 to both sides of this equation, you solved for x. It's 12. Next, let's look at a slightly more complicated equation. 3x plus 4 equals 10. So now the x is being multiplied by 3, and then we're adding 4. So how can we solve for the x here? Well, we can do this in 2 steps. First, let's try to get the 3x by itself on the left side of this equation. So what can we do to get rid of the 4?
I love that he explains it in detail and then asks you to input some of your information and think it through. Of course, I believe that you could write this down on a separate paper and do it yourself, but this one allows you to participate as you go through, and it's going to be patient. It's going to wait for you to give us a suggestion. You can put the right answer or the wrong answer, and he will still explain it to you. I'm going to try subtracting 4 from both sides. Hopefully you know to do that.
Okay, let's subtract 4 from both sides. On the left, we have 3x plus 4, then minus 4, so the 4's cancel out, leaving us with 3x. Perfect. And on the right, we have 10 minus 4, which equals 6. Okay, so now let's try to solve this simpler equation. What's the next step we should take so we have just an x by itself on the left side?
One of the problems that a lot of people have is that they'll divide by -3, which is incorrect. You actually have to divide by +3 on both sides, which is here.
All right, let's divide both sides by 3. On the left, we're taking x, multiplying by 3, and dividing by 3. So the 3's cancel out, leaving us with x. Nicely done. And on the right, we have 6 divided by 3, which equals 2. So the solution to our original equation is x equals 2. Let's double check that by plugging in 2 for x. That gives us 3 times 2 plus 4 on the left. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 plus 4 is 10. So yes, 2 is the correct solution to this equation. How did we get that? We simplified step by step. First, we subtracted 4 from both sides to get rid of this 4 over here. Then we divided both sides by 3 to solve for x. Try using this step-by-step approach on another equation. 4y minus 9 equals 15.
This is where you should pause the video and do it yourself. You, of course, are going to do the problem.
Can you solve for y?
And you're, of course, supposed to add 9 to both sides and divide by 4 and put your answer in.
Exactly, so y equals 6. All right, now for a slightly tougher equation. Y divided by 4 plus 3 equals 8. Again, try using a step-by-step method to simplify this equation until you get a y by itself on the left.
Make sure you do it yourself. Don't wait for the answer from me. Do it yourself. You should subtract 3 from both sides and then multiply by 4. To eliminate the 4 in the denominator, you're going to multiply by 4 on both sides.
Nicely done. There were a few different ways you could have solved this. One way is to first subtract 3 from both sides. On the left, the 3's cancel, leaving you with y over 4. And on the right, 8 minus 3 equals 5. Then you can multiply both sides by 4. On the left, you get y, and on the right, you have 5 times 4, or 20. Now, you could also have solved this another way. Instead of subtracting 3, let's first multiply both sides by 4. So on the right, we have 8 times 4. And on the left, you might be tempted to multiply by 4 like this. But this expression says you're just multiplying the first term by 4, and we wanted to multiply this whole expression by 4. We can do that by putting it in parentheses. Then we can distribute the 4 onto the sum. 4 times y over 4 gives you y, and 4 times 3 equals 12. And on the right, 8 times 4 equals 32.
Now, one of the things he doesn't choose to mention in this particular part of the video is that any time you have fractions in algebra, you can eliminate them by multiplying the entire expression on one side and the entire expression on the other side by a number, like a common denominator, and it will eliminate all of the fractions for you. So in algebra, you never have to deal with fractions. This is a wonderful technique. This is probably not the best way to do this problem, but of course it does work. I hope you'll keep going and watch your video and actually participate. In a way, the edX is wonderful because it kind of forces you to participate in the lesson and answer questions as you go. So do this section, and then we will be going back. Some people are going to have to do more sections than that. In fact, I recommend that you do them all, because there are a lot of holes in your knowledge in algebra that this particular program will help you fill up. Get to it, get started, do it now, don't wait. Go to edX, join the Introduction to Algebra course.